It's
time for another podcast episode of
Always and
Angelic
Just Be
Aspie,
Alice.
We're different, not less. You're different, not less. And now for the disclaimer for every episode of Always Angelic Aspie Alice.
Yes, at Always Angelic Aspie Alice, we value the lived experiences of those that identify as neurodiverse, autistic, chronically pained, have mental health conditions, that identify with different pronouns, culture, backgrounds, sexuality, and so on.
We appreciate and acknowledge lived experiences as vital to the wonderland of Always Angelic Aspie Alice.
However, our experiences may be different from those who have different experiences, and our advice, /experience, /stories, /personal mantras, etc. do not replace medical or diagnostic information.
We are not therapists, counsellors, or doctors. However, we hope you find another episode of Always Angelic Aspie Alice helpful.
We welcome everybody to be, live, thrive, and belong as different, not less.
Hello.
Hi, George.
Just going upstairs, going to sit down to do a podcast.
Okay, all good.
Really rushed everything in.
That's okay. No worries. While you do that, I'm just going to introduce us and the podcast. So, hi everybody, welcome to the podcast. This is season 4, episode 4 of Always Angelic Aspie Alice. This is a podcast on Spotify for podcasting, and I'm very happy to be here. And I've got my special guest star, George. Okay, Spike Green. Sorry.
That's okay. Hi everyone.
Hi, and we're going to be doing part 2 of our mini-series, and our mini-series was the episode before us, and also the episode that we're doing now.
Yeah.
Great. So we're going to talk about things that we talked about last time, and also things that we didn't get to touch on. So George, I'm wondering if there's anything you want to start off by covering.
I still have not seen Boy Swally's Universe, although I saw the Netflix preview, and it looked interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I actually haven't seen it myself. I've heard parts of it because my parents are watching it, and it looks really good, but I haven't actually watched it properly myself. I guess I'm still having that technology break after the TV break, but I'll watch it at some point, but it does look really good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's always good to see new Australian content out there. You know, there's stuff like Talk to Me or Heartbreak High or that sort of a thing that, the Australian film and TV industry it didn't seem so popular for a while there, but now we're releasing content that seems quite popular. Boy Swallows Universe, Talk to Me, Heartbreak High.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any of those yet. I mean, I saw the pilot for Heartbreak High, and that was pretty good. If anyone wants an approximation of how Australian high schools sound and what they talk about, Heartbreak High is dead on accurate for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although my experience with my school, it wasn't so much as I suppose naughty as what happened in Heartbreak High with that war of just the artwork that was a bit inappropriate, but some of it was spot on, some of it not so much, but I guess I've got to make it really dramatic and addictive to watch.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, is there anything in particular that you want to talk about today?
I just thought it'd be generally. While I'm recording this podcast, I accidentally got a cut on my finger because I didn't know part of this bowl was broken, so I accidentally, it got me. I was handling the plate and it got me, so I just had a tissue on my finger there. So I was a little bit distracted by that. But now that I'm not distracted, all right, let's have a second screen to look at the subjects, because what happens while I
Hello?
basically is here's the site, and if you go out of the site at all, then what happens is you have to be out of the recording if you do that. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to Messenger in the computer, and I'm just going to go back through the messages as soon as it opens to see the subjects if it loads.
Yeah, that's okay as well. Yeah.
My computer decided to like restart on me for some reason. I don't know why. So,
All right.
okay. Sorry, yep.
I was just gonna say my laptop does that all the time, and actually, I'm thinking of buying a new laptop.
Mm-hmm. All
Yes.
right. I'm just looking through now, and okay, what we were talking about last time. Um, it's a while ago. We do tend to talk a lot in chats and stuff, so it's a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Spotify for podcast. Oh, come on, Discord. I don't need you open now. Come on. It's like it automatically opens Surfshark and Discord and all that sort of thing. Ah, right. Okay, mental health, social media, Boyce Weller's universe. Well, Boyce Weller's universe was the thing that, because sometimes mentally I need a prompt. So when someone's like, "Oh, this, and this," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course." So,
Mm-hmm.
did we really cover? I'm not sure we covered as much with schooling and growing up in Australia in the podcast.
Yeah, if you want, that's true. I mean, if you want to cover that, that's okay, because I've also got other like stories to tell, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. So, do you want to start first, or would you like me to start first?
You can start first if you want.
Okay, great. So, in Australia, I have eaten a lot of Vegemite sandwiches, and some people hate Vegemite.
Vegemite?
I'm not. You know Vegemite?
I despise Vegemite, but okay.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but like when I was younger, I had like the best Vegemite sandwich when I was 5, and I thought it was amazing. And I don't know if it had crust on it or not, I can't remember, but it had the perfect ratio of the butter to the Vegemite to the bread, and it just tasted so good. And like as a child, I don't know if it's just me, but as a child, food tasted really good and like almost perfect. So I guess like
Are
what I'm
you
trying to
there?
do is nowadays. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Great. So what I try and do is try and have what I call Vegemite moments. So like happy moments that make me feel good, happy, calm, inspired. Like the time I had a really good Vegemite sandwich when I was 5.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I do get that feeling. Like in my case, obviously not with Vegemite, but in my case, it'd be with peanut butter and jam. That is my absolute go-to sandwich. I don't really eat many types of sandwiches unless you count Subway, but my
Mm-hmm.
absolute, I tend to be like peanut butter and jam, peanut butter and honey, Nutella, or nothing else. I don't, if it's a normal sandwich between two slices of bread, I'm like, since I'm pescatarian and don't eat many meats, I tend to do like fake ham. So if I say like ham or chicken or whatever, I mean the fake equivalents. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, ham in the sandwiches, it's like, oh, it's okay, I guess. But then no, I don't think it really. No, it's not the crust I mind so much. It's a different texture than the spreads I'm used to, or the spreads that I prefer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's true. And for me, I'm not so much of a sandwich person. I used to be when I was younger, but because of there wasn't a lot of choice, I'd have a lot of ham sandwiches. And basically because of growing up, there was a reject shop. There was a store in Hostel Towers or in like the shops, and it's called the reject shop. And there's also like the two little stores. Sometimes they sell this as well. They sometimes have like an American brand called oh, do you know Pop Tarts?
Vaguely, if only because they were prominently in one scene of Pulp Fiction in a toaster.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, anyway, I like I like Pop Tarts now, even though I've had them heaps of times, and I used to be obsessed with like the strawberry flavored one, but now I've converted to my favorite flavor being like it's called s'mores, and it tastes like a s'more, like chocolate and marshmallow. It tastes really good. Tastes a bit plain, like not as sweet as like the strawberry or the other versions, but
Mhm.
I do like imported sweets in food. I've got a thing for like American food especially and UK food, and hopefully in the future some of these episodes would be more aimed towards particular foods. So hopefully that'll kind of like encourage like our American viewers or our English viewers to watch it. Because I know we are getting a lot of viewers overseas. So
Yeah,
I have a lot of content up. I've got a lot of content up my sleeve. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, like now that I know we have international listeners, hi people in America, hi people in the UK, hi people everywhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is great. Like whether you're listening to the particular episode or not, or if you are, in this case, if you are, hello, welcome, thank you for listening.
yeah, exactly. And like, I think the good thing about being on a podcast, like literally anybody around the world can listen to it, and maybe even people on other planets could listen to it. You don't know.
Yeah, there could be someone on Jupiter or Mars listening to it. I don't know, some astronaut discovered the podcast by chance.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm wondering, growing up, did you have any like fun facts you want to share, or weird facts, or interesting facts, or just kind of like, I don't know, miscellaneous facts that are interesting that you want to share?
Well, when I was a teenager, I found my hidden talent of doing Mickey Mouse. Did that did that get in the recording? I feel like it might have not.
Yeah, it
Oh,
did.
okay. Whew. And I won't demonstrate it here because it's going to be way too loud for the neighbors, and I'm always mindful of that.
Mhm.
But I once I once did Mickey Mouse singing the thrash metal song "Raining Blood" by Slayer, which I thought it was hilarious. You know, Mickey's gentle voice with a really harsh metal song.
Wow. Oh my God.
But in terms of one hidden talent I do have is I can do a few voices. You know,
Hmm.
yeah, what's up, Doc? You know, something like that. You know, or
Yeah.
hey, Bobo, want to steal a picnic basket? Yogi. No, it's not as good as it used to be, but maybe if I Yogi. Yeah, that's better. Boo boo. Why'd you sound different? Out of sickness, that's all. No, see, it's off today, but I can usually do it better. I honestly. Anyway,
Hmm.
but like I found those out in high school, and I think you find some hidden talents in high school. Any talents you found in high school?
Yes. The one where you don't go to school.
I did that a few times myself in some ways. Like I was at the school, I'd be there most of the day, but one time I legit snuck out of class to go get the bus early because I knew the class was ending soon anyway, and I was like, "Screw this! The school's not treating me properly, so why should I?
Mhm.
Stay in class. Or sometimes they let us off 5 minutes early anyway, and that sort of thing.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, and
Yes, and
Hmm?
sorry. Were you going to say something?
No, it's all right.
Okay. So I'm just wondering, with your diploma that you're going to be doing, does it start in May? I thought it started in February.
It did start in February, but I decided to defer it further so I could have some more time to plan things out.
Oh, yeah, okay,
I
because
forgot
that
to
makes a
mention
lot of
that.
sense. That's okay. I was just wondering, like, I thought it started in Feb. Okay, that makes sense though. And I'm wondering, with your planning, how's that going?
It's going pretty good. I mean, like, I want to be able to learn a bit of Adobe ahead of time, particularly Premiere Pro,
Hmm.
and I can't quite say I've got the hang of it just yet, but I hope to certainly get somewhat of a hang of it because editing class goes quick. And,
Hmm.
as I've mentioned before, there's editing, cinematography, screenwriting, and storytelling. Not in that order, but like those are the four classes that I gotta, I think, complete to complete my diploma, however long that lasts. And then, of course, I'll move into the bachelor. And I used to get confused all the time when diplomas and bachelors were, but diploma, I think, comes first, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's true. Although the school I was thinking of going to, the college, they actually do their diploma actually beside the bachelor, and then after their bachelor finishes, they do their like their diploma 1 year after the degree ends.
Hmm.
It's just the way they do it. It's that's how Northern does it, but like, I'm not gonna go there. Like I'm not gonna go to Northern anyway. I figured that I want to give like TAFE a shot, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll go to Macquarie or Uni of Canberra.
Ah.
Yeah, I've got lots of options, and like if that doesn't work out, like if going and doing my bachelor doesn't work out, then I would do well, I'm obviously going to finish my certificate, but if I, yeah, I'm basically going to do like work that's related to my certificate 4 in marketing communication. And if that doesn't work out, like if I can't find work in the area, then my plan C is I will train up further in marketing, either a diploma, a associate degree, or a full bachelor.
Right.
So I've got like a couple of options because like life doesn't always work out. I need to be wary of, you know, things that could happen. And obviously, like I can't always get my way, but I'm trying to be open-minded. But I've got a lot of like strategies and just, you know, like lots of supports. So hopefully my plan A will happen.
Yeah. You know, I try to have faith that plan A will happen, but it is good to, I think, have a backup plan. I notice I have a tendency sometimes to just summarize what's been said, but I think it helps me though to really understand it, I guess. So probably that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, do you have a backup plan if you don't end up studying your diploma?
If I don't end up, it's highly unlikely, but like if I don't end up studying the diploma, um, I think that if I don't, I don't know what I'd do, to be honest. Probably just research more online, I guess. But it wouldn't be nearly as
Mm,
good as being at the film school. I never thought I'd
mm,
be praising school until last year. I was going to say this year, but it started last year, technically,
yeah,
before I decided to redo it.
that's true. So I just had to close the door. Oh, sorry, both of my windows are open. So I'm just closing them. There might be some ASMR type noise. It's because I'm closing the doors.
Yes, we now
Sorry.
mention we are a very chaotic ASMR podcast. No, kidding, kidding.
Yes. Yeah, we are sometimes. We are like, and also got the fan on. I'm gonna pause a bit. You're gonna hear like a couple of seconds of the fan. Did you hear that?
Actually, I did not.
Oh, okay. Put a bit. I put the camera. So I put my phone a bit more, and then you might be able to hear. Did you hear
Yeah.
it now?
No, I can't hear it, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh,
also
good.
probably because there's a bit of rain on my
Mm.
side outside the window.
Oh, but rain is also ASMR.
I mean, like, you can't really hear the rain on the thing. It's just the iPhone microphone tends to be a bit directional sometimes, but not as directional as some other phones, I guess. So maybe
Yeah,
that's why it's filtering it out a bit. It's like, well, we got to get the voice, you know?
that's true. That's very true. And I'm so happy that I can have like a podcast where I can just do it on my phone. It's for free. It's easy. Although in the future I do want to get like a microphone, but once I start getting a lot more viewership.
Yeah, like the first podcast I ever did was not even for me. Like it wasn't even from my own phone. It was actually just by chance. I was in this expo in this building, and I can't remember what podcast it was. Unfortunately, I've been trying to rack my brain to see what it was, but
Mm-hmm.
it was way back when I was yeah, it was a disability expo, and I went upstairs, and I think it might have been during when I was working for work in Sydney. And
Mm.
it just happened to be that I did a podcast for about 10 minutes talking about autism. And I think that was pretty good.
That's really good. I would love to listen to that if you ever find the link for that.
I I haven't found the link in 6 years. Well, maybe not 6 years, 5 years, because it was in Sydney. It would have been within 2019 to mid 2023 that would have happened. But I'm estimating maybe 2020 because I remember it was around the time people were masking up a bit more. Or maybe it was a little before. I'm trying to calculate because, like, I think it was before COVID really, really hit and there started being news of it. So I think maybe late 2019.
I see. Okay. That's okay though. And also the good thing is you're on my podcast now, and it's like a really good opportunity to kind of talk about whatever you want. I mean, we have themes. Sometimes we do go off handle, and I think that's okay as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love to talk more about like your studies and just like it'd be nice to just talk about like studies for like a little bit and then maybe more like move into something else if that's okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Studies have been going pretty good. That photograph assignment, I will say in film school, borrow a camera from the techs because photos from your phone do not count. I'm just saying.
Note taken. That's interesting. When I did some observations, and when I mean observations, I mean I have to write down in a neutral way that that inspires the reader of a child's like milestone of learning and development, for example. I had to actually take some photos for that documentation as a practical assignment, and I was thinking of using my phone, but obviously we're not allowed to in class. We had to use a camera just in case for some reason we might accidentally put it on Facebook, we might accidentally email it. Although the thing being, you'd be wary of that anyway, so why would you do that when like you would never put like, you know, photos of someone else without the permission? Like you wouldn't do that online.
Exactly, yeah. Like I was very wary of that, you know, obviously. And in high school I was definitely very wary about, you know, you got to be very careful with the photos, and you know, not everyone can be trusted taking photos of you. I'm not going to name who, but unfortunately I had a friend who had a very sensitive photo of theirs leaked by someone they were close to, and other
Mm-hmm.
students saw this photo, and it was highly embarrassing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I
man,
see.
so you do got to be careful
Mm.
who like the photos, you know, who you share it with. Like, you know, maybe you got to make sure you really trust the person, you know.
Exactly, and I think this is so true. And I've learned a lot, you know, just generally about like always asking for people like for the permission before I put like a photo of them up with their face online. I always ask them. I never would not ask. And if I'm not sure, I just don't take like I don't put up the photo of their face online anyway. It's always like it's always just my face or my media or someone else's media, and I've got permission to share it. But like, I just think it's really important to just remember to ask for consent and not just to assume.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, and yeah, and I was wondering, I'm so curious because I've asked this before, but you weren't quite sure the answer. I'm just wondering, when you do your diploma again, how long would it take for you to do?
I'm estimating 1 year maybe as a whole, because like the trimester is 13 weeks. So if there are 3 trimesters, that'll be 39. If there are 4 trimesters, there will be 52. But I think there'd be holidays, so I think it'd be more like 3 trimesters. And I seem to vaguely remember 3 trimesters, although I'm so out of it, I don't really remember anymore all that much. I mean, I remember a bunch of the knowledge, sure, but then I think it was 3 trimesters. So that'd be almost a year, I think. But I hear that
Mm.
the bachelor goes longer, and I could be
Yep.
completely wrong about that too. You know?
Mm. That makes sense as well. And I've just come across the thought that like, it's interesting how like you're starting later in the year, whereas I was actually going to start my degree later in the year in July because I thought my degree starts in July, but the bridging course is before the degree. Turns out, no, I did the bridging course alongside the degree, so I actually start in February.
Oh,
I know, and I wasn't aware of this until like in December. They sent me through like a drafted schedule of like the classes, and it said, you know, one of the units, which is the bridging course, is one of the things I have to study in the week. And I'm like, oh, so it's during the degree. So I'm like, oh, I must be starting in February. And ever since December, I've been kind of freaking out a bit because I'm like, well, February is pretty soon. And like literally now, not even kidding, orientation is like just under 2 weeks away. And the thing is, like, the degree is like about 2.5 weeks away. And I'm like, wow, time has gone fast, but also February is very early in the year.
yeah,
Yep.
man, that
And
seems like it'd be a bit of a, you know. Did you find out like late last year that this would happen, that the bridging course would be with it?
very late last year in like mid-December, I believe.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's always been like this with this particular institution. Although I should just make a disclaimer. I try not to use the place or the person that I'm talking to or referring to. Although last time I did kind of say the name of this place, so I definitely would put a note or some sort of disclaimer or some sort of like just like you know, little bit of like information in my other podcast saying that I wasn't actually meant to say the name of the place, and if I
Mhm.
couldn't actually censor it, then I put that in. But I'm trying not to kind of say, you know, places, things, people, just because I don't want to like bring down their reputation or also bring down mine.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's really close, and also I've got to like have a meeting still for reasonable adjustments, which I'm in the process of doing, but like I've got to find my diagnosis letter, and I hate the word diagnosis, but I've got to find the letter, and I do have it. But the thing being, I don't know where I put it, and I thought it was on my laptop, and it's not, and I don't want to go back to the doctor because it's expensive to go through that avenue, and I'm pretty sure I've got it somewhere in the house, but like that's sort of a pain because without that evidence, I won't be able to have that meeting, and I won't be able to get the reasonable adjustments that I need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the thing is, I want to do, 3-hour pracs, the minimum you can do per day. I don't want to do the 6 or 7-hour pracs I've got to do for a preschool or a preschool room. And I want my hours to be reasonable because, well, my health has been impacted since my last studies, and I need the institution to be wary of that. And it's just like, yeah, really important that I really self-advocate because I know it's really hard, but I've got to do it this time because when I did my diploma, I didn't necessarily do it all the time, for various reasons. And I've just really got to advocate even though it hurts or it just feels uncomfortable, because I deserve to have those rights upheld, I guess, and like to just be having a good time because I did not have a good time when I studied previously with this institution. But I really hope that, I would have a good time this time because this degree full time is going to be 2.5 years, and that's a long time to be stuck at the one place.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that'd be tough. Like having a hard time there.
Mm-hmm.
I just, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
I think in my school there were like counselors and that sort of thing, and there was like people who could make a plan for those with disabilities or some such.
Mm-hmm.
You had to jump through a few hoops, I think, but once you did, you got to get some extra extended deadlines, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. Even though it'd say I'd practically have a shit attack when it's like, oh, this is already 13 days late, but no, but I got an extension for 2 weeks later because of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then
That's really
some
good.
assignments you can't, but a lot of them you can, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's really good, and it's just, yeah, really important to just like self-advocate and to just get the reasonable adjustments that you need. Like the thing is they have to be reasonable, but I yeah, I'm taking that into consideration about what you said about the extensions. I don't know if I need extensions to be honest, but I might keep that in mind when I have that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the good thing is thank God my institution has a what's it called? It's called a student association, and it's basically like it's a membership you sign up to for I think the term, I guess, the semester, and because of that, I think it's about $20 or $25 Australian, and you get like free food on campus. Sometimes you get free activities you get to do. Like, well, once when I did my diploma, there was like a competition where you had to throw hoops and do circus activities, and you got a prize at the end if you got really got a high score, I think. But like this time, I want to do it more. I want to be more involved. So I want to do like student association better. Like I want to be more involved, and I want to like engage myself more with the activities of that association. And I don't know if that's the same as like in America, in other countries, they have what they call societies or clubs. But like I want to get more involved in like the association side, and also I want to be on the student council, which sometimes is an option when you study, and I've never done that before. So I was just wondering, George, have you ever heard of a student council?
I've heard of a student council, but we can discuss that further because there's a technical limitation of
Mm,
each recording being up to half an hour before it risks erasing itself. So
that's true.
we'll
And
be
the
right
thing,
back with the
yeah,
next part of that.
great. And I'll see you soon. I got to go to a break, but I see you soon. Bye.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Walmart. How may I help you? Nah.
Is it
Um.
Walmart? Is it Walmart American?
Yes, I was doing that as a bonus for the Americans.
I've actually always wondered what Walmart is like.
I mean, I researched it a bit. It seems to be a bit like Big W. It seems to, the way I picture it's like, it seems to be, yeah, Big W, Target type store. Mainly Big W, I would say, except
Mhm.
since this is America, I'm pretty sure they sell guns in the back. Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for your little ad, I guess, your little jingle. I always love when you do that, and I love it when it's unexpected.
Yeah, like I really wanted to put it out there because I've already done Bunnings, I've already done Harvey Norman. I didn't know what I didn't do. Yeah,
That's okay. And maybe in the future you can come up with like an ad to kind of advertise my podcast.
potentially, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
that'd be
those
so
ones you
cool.
hear on Spotify. It's like, yes, get Spotify Premium now, and we'll play this music, and you can't skip this out unless you have a subscription, which I don't.
I don't even have a paid version of that.
I mean, besides,
Yeah.
I heard that they screw over the musical artists anyway. They barely give them any money, so why would I want to, you know?
Oh, I didn't really know that.
Yeah, it's ironic I'm saying this on Spotify, but there you go.
That's okay. I guess like everything can't be perfect, but that was a good fun fact. Or no, exactly a fun fact. It was a good fact.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, do you want to keep on talking about like growing up in Australia or something else, or do you want to just keep on? I don't know. I guess like, do you want to have? Do you want to pick up? Sorry, do you want to pick a particular topic, or do you want to keep on talking about this one?
I think that with the topics, I'm just thinking, um, yeah, there's plenty to talk about growing up in Australia. Like there was this one funny story when I was a kid, where I basically someone went the wrong way. I lived in a one-way street at the time, right? And someone went the wrong way down the street, right? And
Mhm.
I can't remember if I even got the number plate or not, but I called the police as a little
Mhm.
6-year-old, or I was either 6 or 8, I can't remember. But anyway, it was like there was a phone in the toilet of that house at the time, so and it was connected to the wall for whatever reason,
Mhm.
and I called and I was like, "Hello, police." This person went down the wrong way, and then my parents were so embarrassed. And of course, yeah, mum and I laugh about it now when I say the story, but like, I just thought it was quite funny, as petty as like, I know it's technically illegal, but still, it's like people who
I,
call the police because they stubbed their toe or the ambulance. I mean,
yeah, yeah, I know, but that's a good story, and I have a lot of good stories too. Maybe we could maybe for this episode just focus on positive stories, happy stories, because I know last episode was triggering and I had to put like a trigger warning in. So maybe this one could focus on like funny things. Is that okay?
yeah, I guess I was a bit graphic last episode when I was like, "Oh, I'm paranoid."
Yeah, that's okay. So basically, okay, so I got a funny story. Well, this isn't exactly about like Australia, but it's more like about my pet. So I had a pet rabbit. He was really fat, about 3.5 kilos. He was he was like a European floppy rabbit. I don't quite remember the name. He was meant to be a dwarf. He wasn't anyway. Because I'm trying to like build up a visual representation. He lots of spots, but mostly white. Had big ears, but floppy, and a love heart type patch of fur on his eye. So basically, with Francis, he loved jumping, and what he did was he jumped up the stairs of this uh, house that I was in, and then not only that, because he loves doing that anyway, he jumped on a particular person that was like sitting on a couch, but he did it from a distance. He did it from 3 meters in the air, but so angelic, so like effortless, kind of like he was like a plane flying so like so like seamlessly into the sky. And like then he landed, and then all of a sudden that guy like popped up like, "Oh, Francis," and like because like that guy that was sitting there didn't even know that Francis was coming up. It was really funny. And then all of a sudden he somehow jumped back down because he liked to jump down after, and then he jumped up and down on all the other like sofas that were like in their room, and he was just having like, the best time. It was really bizarre.
Ah,
Yeah, he was really like happy. But when he was alive, he was very affectionate, and he loves like people. So he often would jump on people, or he would like follow people around, and just so cute. Like all of a sudden, he was doing a very aerodynamic glide into the air, like at least maybe 3 meters. It was a long way to fly. And then he jumped, and he kind of, the way he jumped was he kind of jumped into the couch, so he kind of like bumped himself a little bit on the cushiony part where you put your back of the couch, because like he jumped that far and didn't have like good traction, because it can't exactly land in the middle of the couch where, you know, someone's butt would be. It was more like the end of the couch where like the cushiony part of the cushion where you like put your back on is. But like, yeah, he loved that, and like it was so cute. And I said it was funny. It also was really funny. But like, I told someone the other day about it, and they were there. They didn't even remember the story. So I hate when I remember stories so clearly, and like other people that were in that memory, they don't remember.
I mean, sometimes I don't remember, but it's not for lack of trying. I mean, I do
Yeah.
try to remember as much as I can, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh, I just remember funny things. Like I'm trying not to talk about particular people in this podcast like names, but I'm trying to think of like memories that are more like just outside of people, just because like if I talk about people I might accidentally say their name. So I suppose like there was a really funny memory of I went to a store in Windsor, and Windsor's like I don't know, I'm not very good at geography, but anyway, it's like a heritage kind of unique vintage kind of place. I can't quite describe it. And there was a lottie store. I remember going there, and I tried the Duff soft drink, and I thought it was like the same Duff that was in The Simpsons, but it was more like the marketing, because it tasted like more like Red Bull, and I thought it was meant to be like the exact Duff that you meant to get, and I thought it was meant to make me feel like energetic, and it was more like the marketing rather than like the flavor, because the flavor wasn't the best, to be honest.
Right. I mean, I've never really liked the taste of alcohol anyway, so I doubt any flavor would really quench my thirst.
That's
Actually,
true. Although, sorry.
speaking of that, the only alcohol that I did like was one that tasted exactly like chocolate milk. And I'm not even kidding you. It was a golden bottle of what was practically chocolate milk, except there was alcohol in it. And you could have gotten
Mm-hmm.
drunk from the entire bottle, like if you had it. And I wouldn't have had it,
Oh,
you know, because I don't ever want to get drunk,
I see.
personally.
That's interesting. Yeah. Oh, but the thing is, this stuff wasn't alcohol. It was a soft drink.
Oh, right. I mean, you said Duff, I thought
Mhm.
alcohol, I guess.
Yeah. I remember I loved The Simpsons, like the Duff Man and like all the weird characters. Like, oh, there was the one that lived, not lived. He worked at the factory that Homer worked at, and he had a lab coat on, and he was really frail, and apparently he had like 100 diseases. Do you remember him?
Was it lab coat, 100 disease? My first thought is Mr. Burns, but I don't think it was Mr.
Yeah.
Burns. Oh, it
No, yeah, I
was.
thought it was. It was Mr. Burns.
Excellent. Smithers, release the hounds.
Did you ever? Yeah. Did you ever watch like a lot of Simpsons growing up?
Oh, always. I mean, now that I have Disney Plus, I'll just throw it on any time, really. Well, the old stuff at least.
That's true, and
But
that's yeah,
I
that's
always make.
reasonable.
Sorry, sorry.
Oh, I just said yeah, I agree.
Ah, right. I always make sure with The Simpsons to, and if you haven't done this already, like if anyone has Disney Plus and they haven't done this already, um, in Disney Plus, sorry, I said that more times than I should. Go to details and turn off the switch that says remastered aspect ratio. It should be grey next to it. That way, only the episodes that were originally widescreen will be widescreen. In terms of like filling up your screen in this case, but then like the older episodes will have bars at the sides as they should. Now, if you have that switch on, it actually cuts out important parts of the image. One example was in a particular episode in the early seasons. There was this Duff. There was this giant Duff can that beer was pouring into, and you would think, okay, that's the same beer flowing from these three pipes that you can barely see in the widescreen version, right? But you get the full
Mhm.
version that has the bars at the sides to preserve the image because it doesn't quite fit the screen, and you see that there are like the three tubes come from this one big tube, which means every so-called different flavor is actually the same flavor, and you missed that in the crop.
Oh, I see. That's a good tip. If I remember, I'll put that into the show notes because any kind of like nuggets I'll like definitely put into the show notes for like the viewers to definitely read, because like sometimes we have like really good facts or really good like things to know, and I really want to like put that into the show notes if I don't remember. I mean, so if I don't forget.
After a certain point they are widescreen just naturally, but before that point, just make sure to have the switch off, and the episodes will be. I'm just going to search up what was the first widescreen episode just so everyone knows. The first
cool.
widescreen episode, because I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. Hang on, I'm just season 20. Okay, season 20 episode. Okay, it's just might take a minute to check. I've always have liked The Simpsons. I don't take it that seriously, but like I don't think you really meant to. I think it's just a very general satire, and of course you know that there are things in there that are bad in real life. They're just funny in the show anyway. Sorry, the show. I didn't enunciate much. Yeah.
That's okay. Did you find the episode?
I'm just in the process. Okay. So the first episode is season 20, episode 10, that will fill your TV screen.
Okay, cool.
Naturally.
That's a good number. I'll write that down.
But anything before that is meant to have the bars at the sides. Otherwise, you will be missing out on information on anything before that.
So, season 1, episode 20, is that what you said?
No. Season 20, episode 10.
Oh.
Take My Life, Please, is what it's called.
Take My Life, Please. So, that episode, is that when it went to widescreen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll write that down and hopefully I'll remember to put into the show notes, because not everything honestly makes it into the show notes, and it makes me a bit annoyed because like you only have so many characters to put what you need in the show. But I'll definitely try and do that. And I've watched Simpsons for like the longest time. I also watched it a lot when I was younger. Like I think it was like 6 o'clock or 6:30, like nearly every night on TV when I was like in primary school. But like I've watched it a lot. Sorry, I've watched it a lot less because of sometimes they change the times on TV, but also sometimes like when you're older, you have commitments. Like you might have like choir after school or like other extracurriculars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's interesting to note about the widescreen. I'm just really happy how like you remember all this stuff, because like some of this is like really important.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
It's also worth noting that avoid watching it on Channel 7's channels, just because if they air the older episodes, they will use the crop.
Okay. Avoid Channel 7 if you're in Australia.
Like Channel 7 has some good stuff, but like still,
yeah.
I'm not sure what it's like in America or the UK or whatever, but at least here in Australia, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, and I just want to quickly say this. I'd have to finish up any recordings of our podcast just by 6 o'clock, because we need to leave at 6 for a peer group I'm going to in person.
Okay.
But if you finish before 6, I think that'd be fine. But I've got a feeling we'll definitely finish before 6.
Cool.
Yes, and I'm just wondering, maybe we can just like sidewalk for a bit. I'm just wondering, do you ever want to go to other countries or other like specific areas in the world, and which ones and why?
Absolutely, I do. I'm planning on going to California for a week or two this year. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
I'll get to go to the new Beverly Cinema, and I'll get to go to the, potentially Disneyland, and I'll get to go to the Alamo Drafthouse, which has very low tolerance on people talking in the movie, which is good.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you were going to do that. And actually, are you going to go by yourself or with another person?
I would be going with Mum. They will be accompanying me, and they will have a great time. And I think it'll be as much fun for them as it is for me, and it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm happy you're doing that. I would love to travel. There's so many places in the world I do want to travel, but like on my top list, I guess, is a couple. I guess like I do want to visit London, and I do want to visit Bath as well. That's both in England. I've got a thing for anything British and Mary Poppins and Northern and just basically anything that's like really otherworldly and just like very different to nowadays. But also like um, I do love like just I can't explain it. Just I guess things that remind me of like an escape or of a dream. So I definitely do want to go to like places like the ones I said. And also, did you know that like in Australia they've actually got a yearly official Mary Poppins festival that's actually in Fraser Island. That's off Queensland. It's actually a very small island that's just in Queensland or off Queensland in Australia.
Ah, cool.
It's so hard to get to. It's like 9 hours from Sydney, and I was gonna do it last year, but it's impossible with a car. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I ever would, but like I'm just surprised Sydney hasn't got anything going on because the author P.R. Travers who wrote Mary Poppins a long time ago, she was well very big, and even now she's I guess big, and also because of like Disney, there's a Disney movie about it, and there's a couple of them, and I'm just surprised her life and just I guess like the just the really interesting locations she grew up that actually inspired her work. It's not really that well known.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I definitely want to go to Mary Poppins inspired festival this year or something similar, even if it's in Sydney. I'd rather just stay in Sydney because I don't know if I can travel this year just because of my degree. Oh, and to make it worse, I still have to finish my certificate 4, and I can't finish that this month because I've got a lot of project based work to do for my assignment 2s for the rest of the units. But like my certificate 4 might take me until like the end of May or possibly June if I have to resubmit. But like I definitely probably won't be like traveling like any big like trips this year.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if I did make a big trip though outside of America, I would love to go to the UK myself. And
Mhm.
I think I did mention the portals last episode, but I will also mention it would be cool if you could travel to any country you want for any, say,
Mhm.
Mary Poppins convention.
Yes, it
With
would be, especially if I could like,
I
like
wasn't fin-
what's the word? Transport myself or teleport or something like that'd be really good. But I said that in the other episode. I said that's what you need a plane for.
yeah, I guess so, yeah, but I wasn't quite finished because I was about to say that if you got an umbrella that could transport you, you could be like shim shim shari shim shim shari shim shim shari, and those could be like the magic words, and you can transport yourself to London or Japan or anywhere really. Oh, that'd be epic. Like if half these things from fantasy films existed in real life, closets to another world, umbrellas that can take you places, flying on broomstick. It seems so cool.
Yeah, and as a child, but even a bit younger than I am now, not even a child. Yeah, I used to want to believe those things to be true. And what was I going to say? Yeah, I agree. And like, oh yeah, I was going to say, things in movies that which could be true, like you can live forever, because like in the real world you have to die at some point. And I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm like, I just I suppose I just make the most of every day. And what I figured as not just an autistic person, but just as a person as well, I just focus on like today, what I have to get done, and also having some time for fun, even if it's just like half an hour or 10 minutes per day because like that's what I've been doing as one of my self-care strategies and it's helping. But like I try not to think about like, things in the future that might be bad or could be an unknown because like often I would like in the past just like ruminate about it and just like try to figure out why that unknown is gonna happen and then I would get myself or in a tizzy and like I just can't like work like that anymore. I'd rather just try and be in the present and it's working. Like being in the present is working, but my God, it's hard work.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, grounding oneself to begin with is hard work sometimes, like, I think. But
Hmm.
I'm just going to say one thing. Like, do you mind if I just say one thing that concerns the subject of death?
Yeah, sure.
When I die, I hope that it's peaceful, and I hope that it just flows naturally. It's like I don't want to be gasping for my last breath and then collapse. You know what I mean? I just want, if I died in my sleep, that'd be nice. Or if I just felt like it was almost like falling asleep, that'd be great. All that shit that
Yeah.
involves thrashing around and getting sick and pain, I don't want that. So when the time comes, a long, long time from now, that's what I want it to be like.
Yeah, that's very true. And and that's very reasonable. Because sorry, I had some water, so I was like swallowing it as I was speaking. I just want to say, yeah, I do agree with your statement, and I guess for topics like this, and it's on a podcast too, so it's kind of like recorded. I probably won't give my opinion here, but like in another podcast, when I feel comfortable, I'll talk a bit more about things like that. But I sometimes end up going into a negative territory, so I won't kind of give my opinion here. Also, I don't want to put a trigger warning, like I don't want to slap on a trigger warning on this episode, so I'll just kind of keep it positive or neutral for now.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but
I was trying to make death as positive as I could. I mean, I know there's the death positivity movement, but outside of that, I mean,
yes,
I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure that's a good movement and all, but I'm not like part of it personally.
yeah, that's a fair statement. And sorry, I sometimes I get a tickle out of nowhere. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, and yeah, I appreciate how there's movements like that, and also I do appreciate things like unions and human rights. Although I do want to be part of my union again. I was paying and then I ended up not paying because I couldn't afford it, and I do appreciate movements and just what people do, and I just I'd love to do an episode on like unions and like how good they can be and just like advocating for yourself. But like I have so many ideas. Honestly, sometimes I just can't write them all down.
Yeah, like I didn't know what a union was until a few years ago, and I was walking outside Dendy Cinemas in Newtown, and at the time, and these people, it was for a good cause. It was for unions, of course, but I didn't know that at the time, so I was a bit confused. There was just noise out of nowhere, When I say trade, you say union, trade, union, and they had a bullhorn and everything, and I think they had a policeman walking with them, and it was interesting to see, but I didn't know what the hell anything was about. I was slightly overwhelmed, even though I vaguely knew what they were doing was good.
Yeah, that's very that's very interesting.
And they say trade booming union, woo! I only bleeped because it's this podcast.
It's okay. No worries. And even if like people accidentally do swear in this episode or on the other one, I've still got to edit. I will definitely put on like a bleep. I think you're using like a bar sheet, like bah or something. I yeah, definitely do need to censor some stuff. Although I do feel like it's okay not to censor, but just because of like, yeah, I'm trying to keep all of my episodes like that have been previously done like very recently or just the ones that I'm going to be doing in the future. I just want to keep them clean just because I just feel a bit awful when they're kind of explicit.
Yeah, I mean, like it kind of. I mean, for me, it kind of like if I'm on a podcast that's explicit, it's like I don't want it to be like I'm absolutely like if someone's being verbally cruel to someone and bullying them and just saying awful things about them, that's bad, obviously. But if you're just saying the
Mhm.
F word casually, I don't see the problem with that. As long as it's not really
Mhm.
like and then there are some like, for example, there's like someone like Hitler where you'd be like, bleep Hitler, you know what I mean? Like, because he's completely awful.
Mhm.
But like,
Mhm.
as long as you don't intend it with maliciousness, I think it's absolutely fine. And you only put the explicit tag on because, well, you give people the choice whether to listen to it or not. And, you know, I personally think there are a lot of good podcasts and they happen to have language, and that's absolutely fine. So I don't see the problem with it at all. In fact, if it weren't restricted, I would kind of swear more casually.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
fair. Also, just
I've said
sorry.
shit 3 times in this podcast, I guess. So that's about the extent.
Oh, Oh, that's okay. I didn't even realize you said that, but that's so good. I just want to say we are coming up to the 24-minute mark. At 30 minutes, we'll have to end this recording. The good news is actually my friend who was going to peer group with me tonight, she can't do it. And I don't want to really do it without her because it's a new group, like a new location. So I probably won't go to peer group because I kind of do want to just stay on the Saturday one for now. So the good news is I can actually do another segment after this if you want to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Great. And just wanted to kind of give us a heads up and also our listeners a heads up. It's very, very likely that this episode will be longer than an hour, but hopefully not longer than an hour and a half. I'm aware that some of the episodes do get really long, but honestly, sometimes the podcasts for me, if they're long, sometimes it's like better because you cover a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like it's more realistic that someone would listen to this as opposed to if it was like one massive 5.5 hour podcast, say.
Mhm.
That type of thing I recommend would be like breaking up into hour-and-a-half episodes or shorter episodes or whatever it is, you know?
Mhm. Exactly. And like there are a lot of episodes that I've listened to of other people's work that have been like an hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, over an hour. And it's good to listen to, but like I do see why sometimes really short episodes can be good. But honestly, because I'm trying to be more like authentic and just real and raw and just like conversational, I just want to put like the episodes, as they are, even if they are long. It's like, well, I'm going to be attracting the right people, the right viewers. So it doesn't really matter how long it is.
Mm-hmm. And even so, you can like break it up if you listen to a bit of it in the car and you have to go to work, and then you listen to a bit of it on your way back, and you listen to a bit of it at home, whatever you do, you know?
Exactly, yeah. And we are coming up to the 26-minute mark, so I'm thinking we'll just stop here. Probably we'll have to have a break because I need to have some water and some food, but we can definitely come back. And just wanted to let you know, George, that if you want to do a advert as soon as we come back for the other segment, then you can definitely do that.
Yay!
Great. So I'll see you on the other side.
I'll try to think of one. See you on the other side. This podcast is brought to you by I Got Nothing.
Is I got nothing meant to be the tagline?
Well, I legit ran out of ideas, and I was like, I thought it'd be funny if I just said like there was gonna be a promo, and then I was like, oh, but there's no, I'm promoting nothing. I just thought that'd be kind of funny. I don't know.
Ah, okay. I thought like nothing was a brand.
Yes, nothing sells, or rather doesn't sell, cleaning products and vacuums and guitars and whatever else, because
Oh,
we don't have the budget to sell anything, so we sell nothing. Nothing brands available at all stores now, or not.
oh my God. Oh, that'd be funny if there was an actual brand. But then it wouldn't be because it would be nothing.
Yeah, it'd be, as the title of the Dire Straits song is, "Money for Nothing."
hmm Yeah. So I'm just wondering, George, what would you like to talk about? Like, I guess like, do you want to talk more about like traveling or like food or memories?
Memories. I've never seen Cats. I just know that clip. Um, I think that I actually have one good story from my childhood. I think, and that
hmm
was a bit of a funny one.
Okay.
So there were these two people talking to a teacher, and this was year 4 or something. And so the teacher's like, "So say this," and she was saying what to say. And so this is just when I woke up. And so the teacher says, "So I need you to go up to them and say," and then I say, "I need to pee." And
And
I,
did you?
yes, the teacher let me. Yes. But I thought that was just, yeah, I always laugh when I think of that.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I got a question for you. I got so many burning questions, but this one's on my mind. When you studied your diploma, like last year, did
Yep.
you end up like hanging out with people from your cohort? Did you end up like, I suppose, like making friends, or was it too tricky?
I made friends, but like we never got to really hang out outside of school though. It was
Hmm.
very busy with the work, so we were kind of, just in the classes with each other anyway. So yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like if there is ever a chance that I could hang out with the folks outside of things, and perhaps people helping each other with the homework and whatever it is, that'd be cool, I guess, if we all organized it. I don't know.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm wondering with school and I guess like studies, I've got a few ideas, but I'm going to ask it in a question. Would you be wanting to or willing to maybe write about your experience of studies or maybe particular study topics because of like I've got like social media and I've got like a blog and a blog on like Facebook and Instagram. Would you be willing to kind of like guest write content and like put up your content?
Well, no, no offense, but I'll tell you why though.
Yeah.
I was potentially thinking of instead, and I thought of this before you suggested the blogging actually, but for a while I've been thinking of trying to over time, make bit by bit a documentary on all of that stuff. A documentary on studying, a documentary on the state of a student during that, a documentary on what it takes to get through film school, everything really. But I would need to consult the school. I would need to plan things out a bit. And I would need to, of course, balance filming with working and stuff. And not everything that would get filmed would necessarily be used. That just tends to happen in a lot of documentary. Like the film Not Quite Hollywood, that's a documentary about Australian B movies that had like 100 hours of interviews, but that film's under 2 hours. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's less than 2 hours. So yeah, they would definitely not have used all of it, and that just
Yeah,
happens. So I was thinking like, you know how Boyhood like filmed over 12 years.
really.
Yeah. So basically, I would think of, potentially filming on and off, kind of, for as long as the diploma and bachelor is, so I can get my complete experience. I think that could be really cool, especially watching me grow from ages 22 to, I don't know what, 25 maybe? I don't know. I think that could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I would change as much as the boy in Boyhood, but still.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. And like, you gave me some ideas. Like, I, well, because of your idea of like doing content, but like long term, so it's over years. I was planning to do that content anyway around like, on my socials about like what a tutorial, what a lecture looks like, maybe photos if I'm allowed to take photos of my work and talk about like what I've learned. But I'm thinking maybe I could do it long term too. So maybe kind of somehow keep that up across the 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I need to, obviously have a schedule. And also the thing being, I'm not very active on socials, like on Facebook and on my Instagrams. On the ones I use weekly, I only do one weekly, update or one weekly content or something weekly once a week because that's all I can handle.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a lot to kind of plan around. Do I have to do extra content? And I'm already kind of like, a little bit of burnout anyway because of socials and trying to have new, like exciting content. So like, there's lots to think about. But like, yeah, I do like your idea about like doing, like, hang on, sorry, documenting the student experience, but like over time.
Yeah. Yeah, like I really think it could work. I really think because everyone is different to an extent year by year. It's like you're basically the same, but like things change about you. Like maybe you learn things and it makes you a bit wiser, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Oh, and I was also wondering, my other burning question is, I think you told me, but I forgot. What's the actual name of your diploma?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Like I think it was diploma of film, but I could be getting that completely wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I do think
That's
though
okay.
that one mission I should do is also just generally watch more films. In terms of, I don't watch films as much as I want to. I mean, I'm not saying they'd absolutely take over my life. I mean, I do other stuff too, but I just mean I want to finally see, The Cabin in the Woods, and I finally want to see what are some other big films I've never seen, Saving Private Ryan, or that sort of thing, or the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
That's true. And I guess that could be really good. And also, I was thinking maybe because you got spare time now, because you got a couple more months to prepare, which is good. And I'm wondering maybe in that time you could also like learn how to do like referencing and things because that's something that I'm trying to do anyway because of my certificate for is forcing me to kind of do referencing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the referencing is important, but I definitely think like if you've got like more time now because you're studying later in the year, maybe it's worth like investing like some time in practicing referencing skills.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't really think of that because it was just daunting, the referencing thing. But like, I
Hmm.
guess I could. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a good skill to have, and yeah, I definitely wanted to like say that to you now, even though it's on the pod and it's recorded. It's just like yeah, it's like you've got a couple more months of like time, and like I yeah, it's I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think it's good how like you've got more time to kind of prepare. But yeah, it's also like time can go so quickly. Like it's scary sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, one of my
Hmm.
fears is that time will go so quick that life will be over before I know it, and I'll be old and wrinkly and stuff, you know?
Well, yes, that's one of my not exactly a fear, but a couple of years ago I used to think like that. Although the thing is, what I realize is when I'm in the moment and I'm really like just in the moment and I'm focused on what's happening right now. Time kind of slows down in a way. So it's in a way it's like I'm capturing more time and I've got more time because I'm in the present and like nothing else matters.
Yeah?
Hmm. But yeah, I even with myself, I have like 2 weeks to kind of prepare for uni, and I've got to get like a concession. What was it called? Sorry, not a concession. It's like a student Opal card because in Australia, like for those like listeners in other countries, we've got something in Australia called like the Opal card, which is kind of like a debit card in a way. Like you put money on it, and then you can kind of like tap on and off on public transport, and then that's how you pay for your public transport.
Right.
Yeah, like I've got to get like the full-time student one, which is like half the price of an adult one, which I don't have to do like anything to get. Apparently, I just like enroll and the government will like send me one in the mail.
Uh-huh. Well, like,
But like,
it depends what process you look in the government. It's just, it can be more complicated than, certainly I thought it was less complicated, you know?
yeah, but I've heard like you just like on enrollment, in like a week or two after that, you should be getting like in the mail, like your Opal card, and because the government would be like, what's the word? They would be notified that what's the word? That you're a full-time student. Although I've got a feeling you got to like notify them first online. Like I remember a couple of years ago, I remember doing that, and I had to notify.
Susanna
Yeah,
completely cut us
sorry.
down for a second.
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just stay in the one direction because I'm kind of like walking around my room because I'm like I kind of need to do that. Yeah. But I'm like last time I did it for my diploma or my certificate 3, I couldn't quite remember. I definitely filled out something really quickly online. Like I gave permission for my institution to kind of pass on the details to like transport, and then transport got back to me, and that's how I got the student Opal card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I do want to get that again because I don't know if it was like I've got to think it was my diploma. I didn't get the student card at all because like I think I had forgotten at one point. But anyway, I'm definitely like more switched on, and I'm definitely gonna like get what I need and like get the benefits that I can out of being a full-time student. And the tricky thing is I got to juggle doing my cert for part-time somehow whilst doing the bachelor full-time.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a bit of a struggle. The good thing is I'm near the tail end, like I'm nearly finished with my certificate, but I've just got to really keep at my schedule, which I've like got on my computer. But like I really hope I won't find studying 2 courses at the same time like stressful. But I've got to feel if I like if I'm just aware of the time and just like you know aware of my things I've got on that are kind of time sensitive, then I think it'll be okay. But I think not like if I forget, that's a bad thing. So if I don't forget, like that's good, but like there's just a lot to kind of focus on, especially if you're like a full-time student. There's like a lot to kind of organize before classes begin. Like there's other things I can think of now that I don't have time to say, but like yeah, there's like a lot to kind of like organize before like you start studies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like interesting. Like I really think that like the 2 weeks from now is gonna go so quickly, and then all of a sudden I'll be like studying and I'm gonna be like bombarded with like assignments and things, maybe. But like, yeah, I'm trying to like really savor the time I have. And also school holidays, it's vacation care. Like, sorry, vacation, not vacation care. Like I worked in vacation care, but it's called vacation. What was it called? Vacation time? No, hang on. Holiday period. It's some people call it vacation. I don't know what they call it. In Australia, they call it vacation something. Anyway, because I'm trying to like use the other words that's like Australian, and then kind of like convert it back to like what other people like besides Australians know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, the vacation period. I think that's what they also call it in Australia. But like, I think everywhere else, like in the world, I think if I say holidays, they would understand that as well. Like, because I do sometimes call the school holidays the holidays.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I just tended to, when I was in high school, especially, I tended to just call the school holidays freedom.
Mhm. Very true. Yep. Mhm. But Yeah, I'm kind of out of thoughts right now, which is really surprising because I'm usually like bombarded with thoughts and things to say. So I'm wondering, George, do you have anything you wanna say? Otherwise, I might need to wrap up a bit earlier than expected.
Yeah, like I think we've talked about everything we've talked about on the subjects. Probably. I just yeah, it's been through a lot. Thank you all for listening to these two parts of this podcast, and
Yeah,
yeah, we hope to see you back again.
yeah, and we'll see you. Well, hopefully, like next Sunday. Although I'm trying to do them like Sunday weekly, but this episode and the other episode were like kind of done in the same week. But that's because like the other episode before this was done a bit late, but it was like a good reason. Anyway, I'm not gonna ramble anymore, but I will be on here next time with maybe with George, maybe with another person. I'm not sure. But okay, I'm gonna wrap up. So that's all.
That's all, folks. Trademark Warner Brothers, but I used it anyway. All right. Bye, everyone.